Hello everyone, you're very welcome to today's podcast. This is Healing Beyond Psychology. My name is Paddy, this is Mark. Today we're going to be talking about men's mental health, and obviously June is Men's Mental Health Month. So we're going to be talking about men's mental health, and we're not going to mention the stats in relation to men's suicides, but they're off the charts at the moment. I think it's like 6,000 a year.
Okay.
So the suicide rates have gone through the roof, but obviously men's mental health is it's a major factor these days, and it's affecting an awful lot of men. And I'm actually starting to get a lot of men clients, which I'm delighted about. And I think when it comes to healing and resolving past traumas, the dynamic between men and women are so different. They're completely different. And when women are talking about their traumas and their past experiences, because when they're coming from an emotional point of view, because men aren't really in tune, as in the emotional awareness and intelligence part, it's kind of alien to them, because we're not raised that way, obviously. Where we're shut down a lot of the time when we're growing up, but as a result of that, then when it comes to emotions, we're lost, and we don't know who to speak to. We don't know how to actually express it, and the massive part of it is we become very lost and confused in ourselves. And I think then obviously the stresses of everyday life then just piles and piles and piles and piles until eventually brings you into a place then where there's no way out other than, I mean, it's actually suicide. Actually, I would speak about our own experiences now, saying, but I never, because I would have 3 suicide attempts, but my fourth one, I'd actually thinking about it. So the emotional pain and turmoil that you go through, that would have been like, it's gonna end on this day, and it was actually a relief coming into the day to yourself, right, it'll be tonight now, we'll go to the park and I'll take all these tablets and that'll be the end of it. But the emotional turmoil that I was going through that I couldn't escape or couldn't see, I was drowned in emotion. But I was saying to myself, it's going to be a relief. And the thing is, because you're feeling that way and you feel like you're on board and everybody else and all that kind of stuff, you're saying, I'll be gone where I won't be feeling this anymore, but I'll also give everybody else relief that I'm not aboard with them anymore, and then they just be to get on with their lives happy that you're not in anymore. And of course that can't be further from the truth, you know. Obviously that's not the representation, but of course that's the headspace that people will be in, that's manically depressed or suicidal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's painful because you think of what happens to you that causes that. So there's always like a root cause. So I know for my experience was probably I didn't want to live by myself because my marriage was ending, and I had 3 young kids, and we had a mortgage, and I didn't know what to do. And as you said, it all piles up. And then if you turn into drink, or if you turn into drugs for the pain relief, I suppose, and you just don't know, men don't know what to do with their emotions. You know, women are the emotional, and they'll yap about it, and they'll see counsellors and stuff, but men go, oh no, I'll go to the pub and have a pint, or, you know, or I'll block it in. I won't say that because men will only tell me to shut the fuck up, but anyway, you know, but that's, yeah, suppressing. And I know for me, I just didn't think there was a way out, and this is how I will clear myself of the pain. And I did try, and then when I moved out of that environment and I was living by myself, and when I didn't have the kids, so when I had got the kids, we had a timetable, but then there was days when I didn't know what to do with my time, and I went, you just want the family unit to be together again, even if it didn't work, because we're fighting all the time, but you just felt lonely. Men can feel very lonely with their emotions and don't know what to do about it. So I thought about it again, I was trying it again, and every time I tried, this is probably, I think I had 2 attempts, and the second attempt with living by myself in the apartment is when I think the belt broke after wrapping it around my neck, and then it's like, I mean, that's it now. Something inside me says, it's not supposed to be now. Stop doing that. This is not the way it's supposed to be. And I was very lucky that it didn't, you know. And I'm sure most people in their lives, men and women, have some kind of attempt. If it's cutting themselves, or, you know, it's taking tablets, as you said, or wrapping a bleeding belt around you. Someone has always probably attempted something to end the pain.
Yeah.
But what's the answer to it all? I know I'll tell you what worked for me. I said, first of all, you have to have good people around you. The lads that you're having around you are drinking and taking drugs. So I had to say, don't be around those lads, right? That meant you're going to be even more lonely again, when that was the problem. So then I start going to the gym then, and start talking to lads more, and start going, how are you all right? And I became friends with lads in the gym. and they were nice blokes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they weren't drinking or doing drugs, and that was one thing. Then I had one mate that said to me, he says, "I tell you what, I don't really drink that much, but if you stay off the drink for a month, I won't have a drink for a month." And he helped me.
Brilliant.
And I went from a month, then to 6 months, then to a year. And straight away, when I had no substance inside my body, that's what really helped. So if you're kind of smoking a bit of weed to calm down, having a drink with the lads, or doing something like that, how are you going to think positively when you have something inside you? And that goes to antidepressants as well, because I did try antidepressants, and they just numbed it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know like a bleeding zombie.
Yeah.
So the people around me was my first thing. What about yourself? What was your experience like?
Well, my experience would have been, so I think back in 2001, 2002 was, actually, sorry, that was the second attempt. The first attempt actually was 18, and Watergate Park up in Tally. And I remember, obviously this would have been a result of childhood trauma, and like my first time taking a drink, like it was the best thing in the world. I felt so free and relaxed in myself. I wasn't introverted anymore. I wasn't terrified of the world or terrified of people. And as soon as I got a drink into me, that was it. I was fucking Superman, you know. And I could just, and when I'm talking about Superman, I mean, I could just talk to people without being nervous or being afraid, just being myself. And then I found then that my social circle started getting bigger because I could actually interact with people then. So where I started off being great at the start, which when I'm talking about great at the start, I'm talking about 3 months into it then, I became very fond of it. And then of course it became one of my pastimes, as in every time I was getting home from work, it was a drink. And even at that time I wasn't even drinking in the pubs or the house, it was down the fields. But the thing about it was, through the drinking then, obviously, and this is the danger of drink, apart from any other drug. So drink is stimulant, but it's also suppressant. So you take your first couple of drinks, you feel great in yourself, but then the more and more you put in your system, then it starts to suppress you, which actually brings you into a depressed state because it's lowering your frequency of vibration, which means you're in that fear then again. So the first attempt then ended up, I think it was having thrown out of my house, by my mother and father. And I was homeless for about 3 weeks. And never, of course, in the winter, you're not going to get thrown out of the house in the summer, you know, it never works that way for you, but I never was absolutely baldy cold, and I was soaking wet, nowhere to stay, nowhere to sleep. You're walking around all night. I just got into a really, really bad headspace. Had insomnia and nothing to eat. I was walking around just in the depths of depression, and it ended up I borrowed money off a friend of mine at the time. So I said, "I'll give you that back on." No, well, it wouldn't be, or I thought it wouldn't be around on the Monday. I'll give that back to you Monday evening. So I went in and bought, because I had heard that, well, and obviously it's not true, right, but I heard this at the time, that you swallowed loads of paracetamol, that your heart would pop. So that's the way I do it, you know? But what I did was at the buying, I think I bought like 14 cans of Foster's to get myself palatic, because I didn't have the bottle to do it sober, but I knew I'd have the bottle to do it when I was drunk. So I bought loads of tablets anyway, went down to Watergate Park, and I was on my 13 can, and they opened up the box of tablets anyway, and well, I had 2 boxes there, and realised that they were sachets, they weren't capsules. And I was going mad, I was because he was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, plain powder," like. So I opened the bottle of sachets of powder and I poured them onto the box out of 2 boxes. I never poured it into my mouth. My mouth went bone dry straight away. So we used the last can then to kind of swallow it down, and then that was it. Then, but the thing was, from the moment of drinking to that until I opened the 14 can, I was sobbing behind it. Couldn't get over it. Like I was saying to myself, like, this is it now. Like what was it all for? What was the point of it all to bring me to this point to get over here? You know? So then anyway, I drank the can down, lie down on the bench, and I feel these massive pains in my stomach. Then I feel a massive pain in my chest. So I feel it. Fucking, so I'm saying, "Wait, this is it now." You know? Closed my eyes. I started saying the Our Father, and kind of jolted through my chest pain. I sat up and I belched, and that was it. Which made me fucking worse then, because I was saying to myself, "I can't even believe this." It was like, I felt worse and hopeless as it was, you know. But then, of course, then after I couldn't do it the first time, then I felt worse than myself then, you know. But then I would have joined the army then after that point. So I was trying to get myself into a space to get myself out there. So it wasn't like I wasn't trying. I was trying, you know. And joined the army. Seen a psychologist in the army. But of course, that was a tablet thing. They're taking the tablets. Didn't want that to do with that. I was taking it for a week, and that Mondays I would rather feel the rage and the pain than nothing, because you're just existing then walking around. So I swore I never take tablets again. And which which then ended up bringing me to the second attempt, which was the Moral Week. I would have spoke about that podcast
Yeah,
before.
you did, yeah.
So
And was that long after? So the 18 was the first attempt. You get into the army to sort your head out.
Yeah.
You get numb with the medication. How long then to the motorcycle?
So then I was 21 then with the motorcycle thing, because what ended up happening was, when I joined the army, it gives you great discipline in the army, though, you know, we puts a good head on your shoulders, but when you have an underlying issue going on there, so say because of the trauma that one have experienced over your childhood then, and you're constantly in that rage, or you're constantly sad, or you constantly feel like you want to cry, you're constantly in these emotional spaces, without realising you're in emotional spaces, you just know you're off yourself. Another way men describe their emotions, like, it's usually, oh, how you feeling? Grand. Oh, how you feeling? Hey, sure, you know yourself. Angry, but you never go into stress. I'm anxious. I'm feeling afraid. I'm feeling all these other emotions that we won't talk about. So we don't get us. We don't speak about them. So and I couldn't express them things at the time because I wouldn't have known about them. And plus, even though you're having emotional responses, you don't really register them as their emotional responses. You feel angry, but you're not really saying to yourself, "I'm having the emotional anger." That's a byproduct of extreme hurt. So you're not aware of all that stuff. But with the Moral Week thing, then because the army makes you hyper vigilant, as part of the training, and part of army training then is to keep you borderline in trauma, because that's how they drill stuff into you, you know, and that's how they can make you do whatever they want you to do, is by keeping trauma. So whenever a childhood trauma, then all of a sudden they're listening to this place that's willingly getting traumatized again, you know, but obviously I didn't know at the time that that's what happens. So it put me into a really hyper vigilant state where when I was walking around, I could see everything that was going on around me. I started to detest people, and then I just couldn't stand people anymore. Then I pulled away from people, and then of course I went mad in the drinking. And then just one night then, I think I was at going to the Hellfire Club. At the time, the Hellfire Club didn't have a set of gates on it. I dropped my motorbike up there. I was at to bring up a big tray of cans with me on the back of the bike. Up there, drank all the cans, 24 cans. Up there, drove down then, back down. We were driving, so I drove back down into Tarleton Miller's house. Walked over to London's Cross Road. Bought these bottles of cheap crap that was nearly going out of date. Drank them down then. I was absolutely pathetic. And when I got as far as Clondalkin then, actually I remember leaving my mother's house, I was crying the whole way down, so I never bawling my eyes out. But not knowing I'm crying, just crying, you can feel it coming, you're just releasing. And when I got to the top of the Balgally Road then, I said to myself, fuck this, can't keep doing this, I'm fucking out here. So I opened the bike up anyway, it was a Honda Blackbird, fucking real fast bike. And I brought about 120 mile an hour in that distance, which is pretty fucking quick, and 120 mile an hour is fucking mile an hour, that's not kilometres an hour, 120 mile an hour. And the roundabout was right there, so it's the front of the road there, so it's a 2-tier roundabout, it's really high like. But before I hit that roundabout, I heard my granddad who passed say to me, take your hands off the handlebars. Just before the bike hit the roundabout. You know, of course you're on it, you tense up, you're right, gonna hit this shit out of me, so your initial thing is to tense up, but I let go of it and I loosened up. But when the bike hit it, the bike stood up and threw me over the roundabout. I remember the distance I went down the road. It was actually show you the distance. I was saying to people before, I actually landed here after hitting that roundabout. They were like, no, you're fucking in, boy. Catapulted in the air, right down outside on the main road where Smith is on the Conte Road. So that's a good distance to travel in the air. But got up and walked back. It wasn't scratching me. The bike now was obliterated into tiny bits on the fucking roundabout. There was nothing left of the bike. Absolutely destroyed. But got up and went back to my house. And it was only after that then I started saying to myself, this is meant to be. You're not supposed to be doing this. You're here for another reason. There's something obviously going on. But in saying that, but we also know what brings us into that headspace. And the first thing is, right, it's obviously underlying trauma. It's an emotional turmoil that we can't begin to comprehend because we don't understand it. We don't have labels for emotions. And this isn't saying it's easier for women, but we can't identify them. And because we're rare with, I was rare with this, you're crying, sure we'll give you something to fucking cry about. Or, what the fuck is wrong with you? You go to say it, shut your cheeky mouth. So you couldn't voice anything, you couldn't say anything. Like, you were right saying, what's wrong with you? How are you feeling? None of that stuff. Like, we're over around our kids. None of that kind of stuff, but we can't identify them because there's no labels that we can put on them. Now, I know there are labels we can put onto emotions, but we don't tend to not do that. We use these generic terms, just like, I'm grand, I'll be alright, sure I'll sort it. But we're not saying what the actual emotion is, are we? And the more we're put into that emotional space, the more and more we suppress it, the more and more lost and confused we become, because when all that energy's in there and it's booming out on loads of different frequencies because all emotions are different, and they're whacking you out of it. You can't think straight anymore. And before you know it, you're like a robot doing whatever you're doing, and the only thing that comes into your head then is, I don't want to be here anymore. You're not saying you don't want to be here anymore. You don't want to be in here anymore. And the thing is, it's just to get out of space. And that's where it brings us.
So what's the answer to that? So I said, first of all, my answer was, stop being around some of these people that are making you feel bad with that low frequency. Stop putting stuff inside your body that's not going to serve you.
100%. So, when we're going through those, I don't really know, so, right? So, when you're going through depression, especially manic depression, right? We're always looking externally for answers. Like, even if we are talking, so say for instance, we're in a relationship, and we're talking to our partner, right? And if they're not getting what we're saying, it's like we're trying to express it. We're brutal at it, but we're trying to. Sometimes it's not identified by another partner, sometimes it is, right? And of course, partners can direct you in the right direction, and stuff, right? If you're willing to do it. But most of the time, even when I go through that, they're in denial about it. No, I'm not going through that, because we see it as a sign of weakness. There's nothing weak about keeping your mouth shut about your emotions. That's the weak part. The strong part is you turn and saying to you know what? Well, I feel fucking depressed down in my fucking bracket. And another bloke that's sitting there wouldn't turn and say, fucking, that's a weakness. Another bloke turn and say, because even before you went to all this fucking work on this, another fella turned and said to me, geez, I feel like crying, I feel upset with you. Like, Jesus Christ, like, what's going on with you? Like, other blokes won't dish you or laugh at you for showing emotions. Blokes are really concerned about you, because blokes know what the hell is you're going through. They might be able to verbalise what's going through, but they can relate to how you're feeling. And you'll see some lads that start talking to you about it. But the first thing in order to address that way is, if you're feeling that way, it's nothing about your exterior. Nothing. Everything is interior. And all the emotions that you're getting is all coming from the inside. It's all based off past experiences. And there we would have spoken before about primary, secondary, tertiary emotions. So your depression is based off primary, secondary emotions, which happen through childhood, and obviously in the womb. So anything that you're experiencing here has nothing to do with here. And everything that you're able to encounter when you're depressed is a fucking problem. There's no such thing as a situation that needs to be dealt with. They're just problems, and they stress us out, and they bury us and bury us and bury us down and down and down, push us down and down and down until we just want to escape. So the very first thing to address it is start looking inwardly. And actually, even for people listening, if you want to try to figure out what's going on with you, start writing about it. Take out a pen and a piece of paper and say, right at the top of it, how do I feel? Not about how you feel overall. How do I feel in this very moment when I'm writing this? What brought me to write this? How do I feel? So you might start feeling like, well, I'm feeling lost myself. I've no sense of direction. I don't feel like I'm purpose. I feel like I'm useless. I feel like I'm getting in people's fucking way. So when you're identifying what it is your thought process is in relation to it, then start to say, but why do I feel like that? Do you know what I mean? And start breaking it down. And when you break it down, then start breaking it down further and breaking it down further until you bring it back down to, especially if someone's writing down and saying, well, I'm depressed because I'm constantly angry all the time, or I'm lashing out all the time, and they're in guilt, and I don't want to be like this. But why am I angry? Again, it comes back down to trust.
Why are you guilty?
Why are you guilty?
Yes, yeah.
Exactly. So you have to start looking at why you're feeling that way. And obviously, we know, as we spoke about this already, that anger, which most men do have because they can't resolve their issues or their emotional issues, they go into an angry space about it. And anger is just a byproduct. As your emotions way of telling you, do you not realise you're extreme, like you're going through deep emotional pain here. You've been hurt so many times over the years that now you have to try to resolve. You have to get rid of this. And your emotions are only there to say to you, listen, you need to deal with this stuff. And I'm going to keep on harping at you until you address this stuff. And if you don't, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. It doesn't want to bring you into a place where you're suicidal, but it's trying to catch your attention and say to you, you need to address this stuff. Stop letting it fester, because the longer you leave it, the more of an impact it's going to have on you. Okay. So the very first thing to do is what I would say to people anyway is start writing about it. Just put a pen and a piece of paper, a quiet space, even if it's in your car. Drive somewhere to a park. Okay. Just put it out. If you don't know where to begin, just sit with it. Just say, how am I feeling right now? Just write the page. If you don't know what to write, I don't know what to write the page. I feel fucking lost myself. I don't actually know what's going on with me. Whatever's coming to your mind, write it down. Do you know what I mean? I don't mean like a great bus passes by the fucking thing in your car. So don't mean bus passes by, you know what I mean? Talking about what's going on in that space, in that car, within you, in that moment. Do you know what I mean? Write about anything about yourself. Okay. The more you start to focus inwards, the more clarity you get about what's going on inwards. Do you know what I mean? All the answers to all your problems are all inside of you. None of your answers are outside of you. Do you know what I mean?
Very good.
But there definitely is help outside of you.
Yeah. And then, so if that one thing is writing, that's great. But also, you said it's inside you, so is that like the past stuff that needs to be healed, and that's where you come in, or other shamans come in? Because I know some friends would go, "I'm going to run," and they're running their mind off themselves.
Yes.
They're working out in the gym, they're boxing, they're doing everything they can.
They get
But
the adrenaline.
that's good, but that's still outer stuff, isn't it?
Yes.
Just the inner stuff would be
It's
the
temporary
healing
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Short term fixes. So that'd be like, so yeah, definitely, right. So say for instance, right, you go for a run. Because obviously, right, when you're in a defensive state and you start stressing out and you're getting angry, because the amount of adrenaline that gets pumped through your body when you're getting angry, and then of course will go through your body as well. And another reason, there's loads of chemical imbalance. Well, they're not really chemical imbalance, right? But it puts you off, or your mindset off, and puts you into a lower vibrational state, which is a shitty headspace to be in, you know. But in order, yeah, definitely, right, go for a run, it'll burn an energy off, but yeah, it is only temporary. Go for a sea swim, it's temporary. All these things that we can get, go to a drumming circle, it's temporary. Everything is only temporary, unless you sit down and say, right, do you know what, I know what I need to do. All this shit that I've pushed down there for so long, I just have to start addressing it. Just small steps, just step by step by step. And there's loads of people that do, like, so say obviously writing is journaling, right?
That's coming from outer, so that makes sense, right?
Exactly.
What else is inner?
So inner, so and then again, right? So another thing that can calm you down, right, in order to try get your focus again in that space, right? And the reason I'm saying that is to get you calm and focus in relation to saying to yourself, right, I need help, because we can't sort ourselves. Like, I couldn't sort it myself. I had to go and get help, and like nobody can sort themselves. Everybody has to go and get help. That's what we're here for. We're all here to help one another. So the thing will be then is another thing that will be to get your head into a nice calm space to think forward is breath work. So you sit down, you do your breath work, it'll bring down, get you into a nice calm space where you can think, as you said, right, now I need to make a plan. I never we said before about like making plans. A plan needs to be written on a piece of paper. If it's in your head, it's an idea, it's not a plan. And chances are you won't go through it. It needs to be written down. You need to say, right, on Monday at 7 o'clock, I'm going to see a counsellor. Or on Monday morning, I'm ringing this place and this place and this place, or I'm going to see a counsellor. Or I'm going to see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a shamanic healer, a pranic healer, a Reiki healer.
Okay.
So it's about our life coach. Not in any order. But whatever you're drawn to, just go for it. Okay. It just means taking the first step. The first step is just taking action. It's just what I'm saying. Or admit to yourself, I have a fucking serious emotional reading problem. I'm manically depressed. If you don't talk to people around you, fair enough. But I mean, there's plenty of men's circles out there where you'd be welcome with open arms. They don't judge it. They've been there. They've been in the depths of it, and they've got themselves out of it. And they're only waiting for someone to come to that door that's on their fucking knees, so they can pull them in there and say, right, this is what you need to do, and we're all here for you, and we'll all be out of space, right? And that's what they do. You know what I mean? There's loads of things. There's there's loads of groups. You have Blue Balls as well, the swimming group that help people. They bring them out for sea swims. All the men people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's meeting men talking to each other, men that have pulled themselves out of it, giving you the answers to, listen, if you want to get out of this, do this. Here's my fucking number. If you're feeling shit yourself, ring me. But what we'll say in above all that kind of stuff is that, what I said earlier on is that I would have had a lot of people come to me that were manically depressed, that just barely made it in the door. One session of this in relation to depression, are going to pull you way out of that space.
Because you're removing that dark energy and that negative energy
straight away. Because that's a result of your trauma. That's not your trauma, but it certainly is the result of all those energies. Shift all that and it pulls you back into a space of, right, now I can breathe, now I feel free of myself, now I know what I have to do.
Yes. You'd be more clear thinking, wouldn't you?
100%, you're just clear vision all of a sudden.
Okay. And that stuff that's inner, because as we said from all our other podcasts, people go, that's airy fairy stuff.
Yeah.
Until they come to you, like you said, some people have just made it in the door to you where they go, I've no other option here.
That's it.
And you do one session with them, you take that energy from them, and then you go, now I know what I need to do.
Exactly.
Now I need to talk more. Now I need to plan more, or whatever it is.
Exactly. When you get that feeling, you know yourself, I know you know myself because I've been there as well, that feeling of pure just content in yourself, right? In that awe feeling, you know, right? Waking up after feeling all those emotions, and you're in that rage, and you're stressed, and you're anxious, and you're in that fear, and when you lie down, you come out, and all that's gone. So like, what the fuck? It's so liberating, and when you sit up, all you want is more of that.
Yeah.
Right? So one healing, like even if people are skeptical about it, just do it once. What do you have to lose?
Exactly. That's what I always say to people.
What do you have to lose?
Yeah.
And anybody that ever came here once finish our time sessions.
Did you?
Nobody never did, or did not finish it.
So how did you contact you then for a session?
Well, you can contact me through Instagram is one way. It's through Patrick O'Brien Shamanic Healing. That's on Instagram. Then you can contact us on the Healing Beyond Psychology page on YouTube. My phone number as well will be on the Instagram page if you want to have a look at that. I'll be also on Facebook as well.
I recommend listening to Patrick's podcast as well.
On Spotify.
On Spotify.
On Spotify.
Because what we just talked about,
Yeah.
you do that in little segments.
Oh, that's right.
So that definitely helps.
Yeah.
So look into that stuff. Hopefully that helped you today, folks, especially the men, because it is men's mental health month.
Yeah.
So hopefully some of that stuff helped. Let us know what actually worked for you. But we definitely try the healing. That's what we're here for.
100%.
It is a healing podcast, and if you haven't, don't mock it until you try it.
Exactly. And if you have any questions, send them in. Have any questions about where to go next, or if you've had a suicide attempt, or you're affected by anybody that's after committing suicide, or you find it appealing, just throw us a text with your phone number. We'll give you a shout and get you straight out of that space.
Yeah.
You don't have to suffer alone. We've all been through it at some stage or another. So, just something I will throw out there is that I know it's something that's frowned upon, but it's nothing too frowned upon, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. Everybody goes into that space at one stage or another. It's just that not everybody does it. But the people who go under the radar are the ones that end up achieving it. Do you know what I mean? So you don't have to be on your own. You're not on your own. There's people here to help. There's lots of people out there to help. So yeah, reach out.
Yeah. Good advice. Thank you.
Thanks very much.